Hello. Just thought I'd give you a scene from the street outside our house. Hope you're having a good weekend. It's already Saturday here in Phuket, and the noodle lady has come round, and so we are ordering noodles. So the kids are off. What you got, guys? Oh.
Why are you always recording?
Wow.
What do you order, Richard?
Same as Rosie.
Yeah. What's that?
I don't know. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, okay. So this is how you you don't, during lockdown you don't have to go out. You just order as they come around with their food. So yeah, Phuket is still locked down. In fact, it's because they're treating it as a sandbox for tourists. It actually makes things more restrictive. If you haven't had the jab, you could leave the province, but I couldn't come back in. Even if you have had the jab, it doesn't matter. Even if people have had double jab, they still have to get tested when they come across the border into Phuket. I mean, it's only like a county border, like a provincial border. But because of this sandbox thing for tourism, then they're being even extra vigilant. So I'm stuck on this island for now. But let's see. All right. Yeah. So but at least people like this can still earn a living selling their wares. It's just the thing is, there are a lot of people starving in Phuket. Some friends of mine that are kind of organising these life bags, where it's called One Phuket organisation. It's just a bunch of people helping, businesses and private individuals helping each other out. And they basically they put together life bags, bags of 5 kilogram bags of rice with oil and fish sauce and canned fish and these, sugar, these kinds of things, essential items. And they're giving out at least 1,000 of these bags a day to people that have no income, have nothing. There's no real government support in that respect anymore. That's all gone now. Everyone's just being left to fend for themselves. And you have camps of Burmese people that they can't go anywhere, really. Yeah.
You wanted one, right?
Yes, please.
What do you want?
Banh mi cup. Can
you just like...
เฉพาะเนื้อไก่ก็ได้ครับเอาเฉพาะเอาแต่ไก่ใช่พวกเลือดอะไรไม่ต้องครับเส้นอะไรครับเส้นเหลืองเปียกบะหมี่มีไหมบะหมี่เหลืองครับบะหมี่เหลือง
เอาให้แอปปี้ด้วยนะ
แอปปี้ด้วยเหรอโอเค เมื่อวานมาไม่ทันใช่ไหม เมื่อวานจะเข้าข้างหน้าถามว่าจะเข้ามาไหมว่าเดี๋ยวต้น ขายหมดใช่ไหมขายหมดก่อนใช่ไหมก็ดีแล้ว she sells well. She does she just goes around and
อันนั้นก็มีเหลืองนะคะ
อะไรนะฮะ
ถ้วยมีเหลืองนะมีเหลือง2 ถ้วย
okay. Here. Hello, who's that from? Okay. Okay. Good. Hi, Jay. Yeah, it is rough. Yeah, it's rough. It's really rough, and of course it's all being driven by, testing. So, yeah. And so, the kids have been off school for months and months and months. It's just, they keep extending it. 2 weeks, every 2 weeks is up. And then on the Sunday, we'll get a message saying, the schools are off for another 2 weeks. And, it's basically because people are getting tested positive and however they're arriving at those test results. But that's it. That's what happens. The basing it all on the science. So you just. Yeah. Oh, we got 5 watching now. So yeah. Just thought I'd like to share, thought it'd be interesting so you can see that, and this is what I noticed in the UK, of course you can't do this kind of thing. There's so many rules on it. Oh, hi, Sandra. Good to see you. Oh, great. Excellent sunspot pics you've been doing recently, Sandra. Lovely footage there. Hi, Uncommon Sense. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, we know the score. We all know what's going on. And thankfully, because we're the kind of people that kind of ask important questions about, reality and what we see and what we believe, then, it was easy to see that it's just sales, it's just business. It really is just business. Of course, you can understand that on one hand, well, the thing is all these different countries and they're all in their club, aren't they? They're all in this club. And so they're all having to run the same official narrative. Yeah, but it's all just business. All just business. Yeah, and that would be fine if it wasn't infringing on our daily lives and ability to travel and work and earn a living, basically. Right, let's have a look. Let's show you these noodles here. Oh, so this is chicken noodles. Wow, that's one for the little girl. Okay, เท่าไหร่จ๊ะ140 Okay ขอบคุณครับเดี๋ยวแป๊บนึงเดี๋ยว hang on, I've got to carry these noodles. Just a second.
ไม่ปรุงหรอครับ
อ๋อครับใช่แป๊บนึง Just a minute, hang on. I don't know.
ก็
ข้างหน้านอนให้นอนไม่ใช่
ทางนี้ใช่ไหม
แต่
อ๋อเนี่ยเหรอ
เดี๋ยวนิดนึงมาอ๋อมันน้ำตาลไม่เอาน้ำตาลโอเคช้อนนี้นะโอเคขอบคุณครับครับ
เก็บไว้แล้วเนาะ
Oh, can't get in.
เดี๋ยวเปิดให้โอ้ยมันยากเนาะไป
Thank you. Hot noodles. Yeah. So while I've got you, let's carry on talking. Hang on a minute. Right. Hang on. Let's see what we got in here. Okay. It's like thinking drinking vodka makes you sober and wondering why drinking more is making you. Nicely put. Yeah. Yeah. So there's the noodles. Yeah. But this is it. Let me just try and maybe I can turn the camera around just a second. Just a sec. We're gonna plant some vegetables today. Got some soil and stuff, so we're going to really. But I think, one of the problems we have is all that's happening, isn't it? Everything that's happening now requires everyone to be dependent on the system. It's funny, isn't it? Because they really rest everything on people complying because they just remain dependent. So if this isn't waking people up to become more independent or more reliant, that's the thing, isn't it? You just have to become. If you're not dependent on the system, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have to have a jab passport to go here or there, does it? unless of course it restricts your travel, and of course it's amazing, isn't it? I suppose a lot of the kind of people that are just going along with this, the official narrative, and putting up with it, in many senses that's their thing. They don't see it as a problem, because they often might not be the kind of people that would travel, or even if they did, they would just go on a quick holiday somewhere. And so they might get a bit annoyed at having to jump through hoops, but they're still just going to go along with it. So, but it's never ending, isn't it? It's never ending. It's not going to stop until everyone just realizes what's going on. Hi, who's that? Is that eye level? Yeah, eye level awakening. Hi there. Yeah, hi. Ah, hello, Patricia. Good to see you. Yeah. So, as I said, thousands of people that are have no. I mean, the other day, they were sending these life bags. These bags that people have donated, rice, fish sauce, whatever, cooking stuff, so that people can actually just have something to eat. They went on a boat to one of these smaller islands off Phuket, but because everything's divided, even the islands are divided by into kind of different districts. It means that because of these Rona restrictions, people can't go either way. So you've got these people that are on this island that would usually rely on tourism. They'd always have a constant stream of tourists visiting these lovely idyllic islands. But then, of course, if they can't go anywhere, they can't get food. And if there are no people, if they've got no trade, they've got no money. So these people that went out on a boat with these life bags and kind of met these people in the middle of the sea to kind of hand them over, like the kind of imaginary border between the two. They were told that these people on the island hadn't eaten for 5 days, gone without food for 5 days. They were starving. And if good-hearted people hadn't just made donations and made the effort to go out and help them, then they'd just been forgotten. Maybe 6 months later, people go to find an island full of skeletons. Yeah, nuts, absolutely nuts. But this is the thing, this one good thing that's coming out of all of this is the realization that we can only ever rely on ourselves and each other. And so, in a sense, this is building a stronger sense of community among the the independents. And of course, there is no label or agenda that you can put on these people simply wanting to be able to live their lives without being infringed upon. Yeah. which we could all probably quite easily do if there weren't these people with vested interests creating chaos. Yeah, but that's the thing. I always look at the creativity and the uniqueness of humans, our ability as individuals to come up with some really wacky ideas that the psychos in charge wouldn't have ever thought of. And it could be really simple stuff. Just I saw some banners on a footbridge across a road, with people just, hundreds and hundreds of cars going under these bridges with numbers of people that have suffered from adverse reactions or, even death. So, this kind of activism really helps. Of course, online, we're not, there's so much is being censored online. But this is it. There's the plus side to all of this is it creates that split where you have people that have known for a long time this is coming, but also those who needed that final push or squeeze to for things to click. To understand that this illusion that we are surrounded by worldwide is governed by a few and with vested interests, and it's all just business. And really, as I said, they depend on our dependence on the system. As soon as you're independent of that, then you are free, aren't you? In many more senses. And of course, unless it comes to things like travel. But if you don't have to go to the supermarket, or if you don't have to go to some branded sports goods store, or if you don't have to go and dine in a fancy restaurant that insists on certain qualifications to get in, then great, leave them to it. Let them, if they want to discriminate. And don't even, then let them, and they will only get, a small percentage of customers. Okay, there's just a few people chatting. Yeah, my DeLorean is like a giant something tall. Are you talking about me? I don't know. Okay. Eventually, humanity has to stand. These psychos are not going to stop. That's true, absolutely, yeah. But it's high-level world. It's a never-ending, isn't it? It's a never-ending thing. It's not just. It's all just continuous resistance and continuous battles. It's one long war. Yeah. It's not something that's going to be won and then forgotten about. And that's the thing. A lot of us become complacent, don't we? We think that we've had a Second World War and that's it, and everything's hunky-dory. We're all just kind of, we're not going to do things like wars anymore, apart from things like Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan. It's just, perpetuating this. So there's always a war on. There are always predators, and any other creature that has to survive has to be on the constant lookout for predators. Yeah, the law of the jungle is not on anyone's side. Yeah, and the law of a jungle applies to humanity as well. Sorry, I'm really hot. It's it's a baking day today. So anyway, this has kind of turned into a rant. I just wanted to show you kind of Thai lifestyle, but it's turned into a bit of a rant. And the Great Reset hazmat. Yeah, eye level. It seems we are not the same species. Well, yeah, you can think when you consider all the everything that's surrounded by and what we put into our bodies, the chemicals, the frequencies. Yeah, we are changed. We're changed as a species. Yeah. Great Reset. Yeah, that's it. Hazmat. Great. Change the image. That's it. Yeah. So, I mean, it's so. It wasn't so long ago. You had you would try and dissuade people from doing drugs, and people. It's just amazing, isn't it? But. What's that? Oops. Bricks up. You say too many people on this planet, not no. That's wrong. There's too many people crammed into cities that are totally dependent on the everything that's provided. But when farmers create excess crop, I mean, it's farmers in the UK produce too much milk to feed the entire nation of milk drinkers. The Brits are huge milk drinkers, but gallons and gallons and gallons of milk get thrown away every day by farmers that just do it to meet quotas. Yeah. You can grow, the vegetables and fruits that can be grown very quickly. So no, that's the whole thing. Scarcity is something that we are. It's a mind thing. It's a mind. It's just. it's just in the head. It's just what they tell you. Oh, there's going to be a shortage of this and that. Well, that's why we have to work towards creating our own independence. Whether it's just your own little community, and that's the one thing about Thailand is it still hasn't gone so far away like the UK has, or any kind of advanced civilization, from that sense of communities. Communities are still very much in touch, and they still help each other out. Every day someone comes around with a bit of fruit or something, or there's a lot of exchanging going on, just helping each other out, and because Thais do that. You go out and everyone's selling their little thing here or there, whether it's the noodle seller that we had just now, or so everyone, it kind of, these micro economies are existent. And so people don't have to be so dependent on, on a centralized thing. It's still very much decentralized here. But when everyone's relying on, as I said, when I went back to the UK, you might have a choice of one or two coffee shops or whatever. It's very, very difficult to be an independent trader. Because there are so many rules and regulations to abide by, which only large corporations with huge amounts of money can do. Yeah. What's that? How we should all go to Texas and let the druggies take? Yeah. Yeah. But I think, this is it. If you've got a significant number of people that are continually under the influence of the various barbiturates that are prescribed legally, there's very little clarity going on. It's people's minds are fractured, families are fractured, communities are fractured. People are arguing about what gender they think they are and things like that. I mean, you see, the more you try to apply labels to things, the crazier you get. Really, one of the ultimate goals that would be in a kind of Buddhist progressive mindset would be to rid oneself of this automatic behavior of labeling everything we see or hear or even feel. Yeah, the whole one of the main objectives or goals of developing the mind is to recognize the moment that you see something or hear something and that you label it, and it has a certain connotation, whether it's emotionally or physically, certain smells or all these things. The moment we see something, it kind of creates something. We label it in our mind's eye. So that's the thing. The more you try and label things that are so infinitely complex when it comes to human emotions and what have you, then the crazier and more split everything becomes. It all becomes shattered and fragmented, and we live these very, we live lives without clarity. There's no clarity in life if you're arguing about labels to put onto certain things, or even create some kind of identity. That the more you do that, the crazier it gets. Yeah. And so okay, either way. Okay, cheers, mate. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Don't lose hope. And that's the thing I'd love to say to anyone that's for example, you see nurses and people quitting in certain jobs because they feel under pressure to get jabbed. I'd say do not quit, because you're in so much of a stronger high. You're in so much a stronger position. If you are a nurse or a truck driver or whatever you are, and they are telling you you've got to get the jibby jab, it's like you just carry on. You carry on working. Do not quit just because someone said that said this or said that. Everything comes down to what's put done in writing. Hi, Lily. Yeah. So, I mean, I've been through this with previous bosses when I was, for example, working at the newspaper. And because I was in a senior position, I'd been the instrument before of kind of, how, because for bosses, an owner of a company when they want to get rid of staff, the last thing they want to do is pay compensation. You see that's the thing. Labour laws and labour courts are actually very, very fair to your average person. If you've worked for a year or 2 years, then if a company wants to sack you legally without any recourse, then they have to compensate you. And of course, that's what companies often do. And then they get you to sign on the dotted line, but they try to get away with as much as they can. Really, if you know the law, the labour law, you can say, well, look, I've been working for you for 10 years. So you owe me £1 million for all, because you're cutting off my livelihood. But you don't do that, because if you signed an agreement to accept certain compensation to leave, that's it. You've got no more recourse. But if you've been booted out, without signing anything and without any of that, and they've just said, right, you're gone, then you've got a great chance in the labour courts to win. And of course, that's the thing. It depends on the employer. I've known employers that they have enough money to fight a case just because they like that. So an employee might take them to court because they were unfairly dismissed, and then but the employer, rather than the threat of court doesn't bother the employer. And of course, both sides can string these things out as well. You know, they can say, oh, I'm not available on that date, I'm doing this or that, I won't be back for another 3 months, can we set the court date for this? And then as long as you communicate with the courts, you can keep these things going forever. Yeah. So it's just it's just a shame to see people quitting because their boss has said something, rather than just carrying on. You carry on doing your job to the best of your ability. You carry on. You don't make any mistakes. You don't do anything until the day they actually physically kick you out or change the locks or stop you from coming into work. You haven't agreed to being dismissed, and then away you go. You've got a case. And exactly, that's simply put, Rune. Yeah, let them fire you, because being fired is the best position you could be in, especially if you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't upset the apple cart, or you just, you refused to do something that would put your life in danger, like get jabbed. Yeah. So yeah. So as I said, I've been on both ends of this before, and there's a time when I was working for an employer that was just trying all these different tricks to squeeze me out. Because remember that an employer wants to fire you, what they have to do is I think it's the same in most countries, is that they have to issue you 2 or up to 3 or 2 warning letters, and then the third warning letter is your termination letter, and they have to be certain, they have to be spaced certain times apart. So of course what they'll try and do is they'll dream up this thing that you did wrong and write a warning letter and say, here's this warning letter, sign it to, and they might say, oh look, if you sign it, we'll let it all go. That's the thing, don't sign it, don't sign warning letters. Yeah. Because once you sign it, you've signed your receipt of it. So boom, they've got it. Doesn't matter what that warning letter says. It doesn't matter what it's about. The fact is, you've received your first warning letter by signing it, and then they do another one. Yeah, that's your second warning letter. And that's the thing, is all they're doing is lining things up so that they can fire you without any recourse. Yeah. So well, everyone off work, says V Thomas.
Hello.
Yeah. So it's happened to me before, because I remember, I had to hand out the warning letters because the 2 guys that the boss wanted to get. And then so when it came to my turn, and I knew it would, he was just that kind of guy. He just would, he would like people for a while and then he'd hate them. That's just the way he was. But so when it was my turn, of course, it was someone else issuing the warning letters. I said, and they put something in there that wasn't, I said, that's not my position, or that's not me. I didn't do that. I'm not signing it. Go away, thank you, and then go back to work. Just carry on. Of course, you've got to carry on coming to work on time and all these good things. Hi, Al. So what's that? I got a new job day after I was fired. 25. Oh, nice one. There you go. That's the thing, isn't it? Often it just works out. Man. And this is the thing. I think a lot of people are also very scared of leaving what they're comfortable with. But all of this, everything that happens in life is always an opportunity, isn't it? So. And there are people that have gone independent. They're creating their own businesses, and because they've had to. I think a large part of this problem on the outset, as I was in the UK watching this unfold when it first kicked off, was a lot of people just took it as a holiday. They were oh great, they just okay, time off work, I'm getting paid, I'll have a few drinks with my mates. They didn't see any that's it. They took advantage of it and thought they would be okay. They didn't realize what was actually happening. Yeah, that's right, Taylor. They aren't regular. They, yeah, it's just, that's insane. It's absolutely insane. But it's not foregone. Don't let these people, these naysayers, tell you it's a foregone conclusion. And people can wake up for all sorts of reasons. It might be I heard a guy on a talking radio show the other day crying his eyes out because he'd had cancer that hadn't been seen to, because the doctors refused to see them during the Rona times. And then by the time they did see him, 12 months later, he was then told that he only had 12 months to live because he hadn't had an operation, blah, 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 very sad. The thing is, ultimately, someone in that kind of position, we still have to realize that our health is our responsibility, isn't it? So we can't be dependent on the doctors. Unless, of course, you break a leg or something and you have an accident, then sure, you need some medical treatment, yeah? But a lot of the things that we go to the doctors or seek medical advice for are the kinds of things that we can cure ourselves, whether it's, fatty liver or gallstones and things like that. These are the things that they say they're going to cut you open for, but you don't need that kind of treatment. You just treat yourself with the right diet and stuff. So, Patricia, what's that? Really enjoying this talk. The civilized world was always mad, but that's only now strikingly apparent because it's seeped into even the most simple of places. Spoiling. Yeah, well said, Patricia. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Taylor, wish we could talk about more thoroughly. Yeah. Well, that's kind of, I must say thank you very much to those of you who have come along and become Patreons, because we're having some really nice discussions now, kind of setting up these regular collaboration meets with the Patreons. So it's nice. We've got this little way of kind of talking and doing things without interruption. So Yeah, Thomas, that's it. It's just that's the wonderful thing about the internet. We can all find out. We can all be each other's teachers and find out these things. That's, of course, another thing with this. Everyone's different, right? Everyone's got different needs, and there are different things that help different people. So why do we have these jabs that are just one thing fits all? It's just absolutely nuts. But no, interesting point you made about civilization, Patricia, because that's the thing, isn't it? The more civilized and progressive a society becomes, the more fractured it becomes, because you're trying to please all these different people, and everyone is different, So ultimately, and if you're always minding your manners and things like that, then it becomes stressful. Going out becomes stressful, and of course that's what's happened. Going out is stressful if you're not a mask wearer or whatever, or you see this, and it's so sad to see people being. We know they're all being. It's no one's fault if someone's getting agitated or upset at you because you a different view. It's not their fault in a way. It's been programmed into them. They are a victim, really, don't you? That's the thing. And so, don't want to really fight with people. But it often ends up like that, doesn't it? Yeah. So, oops, a few more chats there. Just a second. I've got to put my glasses on. Yeah. Lily Lynn, you had a VA injury for 20 years. Oh my word. Hepatitis A, B. Oh wow. Unfortunately, it's the thing, isn't it, with experience. Experience is what teaches us. Wow. What's this? It's accumulating in our system, the whole of the so-called treatment. Yeah, this is it. It just builds up, and the third, the fourth, the fifth. I mean, I'm amazed actually that people still don't. But I suppose that's it. Once you're caught up in that world, then you just go along with it, don't you? You just don't question. You don't question until you're in a situation like Lily Lynn there, where you've suffered at the hands of these people, and then you have to yeah. My parents had my tonsils taken out when I was a kid, and I nearly bled to death. I had blood. I was puking up blood for ages. It wouldn't stop bleeding. The doctors were really worried, but I was 10 years old. I didn't have a clue what was going on. And if I'd had a choice, I would have said, "Don't cut my tonsils out," because I was constantly getting sick. But then I was playing around in dirt and things like that, and I was sticking my fingers in the mouth. And so yes, I would get diseases as infections, and my tonsils would swell up, which is what they do. And it didn't bother me really. I was just getting over it as a kid. It's like, okay, well, it hurts to swallow, but of course, the parents get concerned. They take you to the doctor, and the doctor says, okay, right, out with the tonsils then, because that was the trendy thing to do back in the whatever it was, the 70s, late 70s. They were just whipping kids' tonsils out left, right, and centre. They don't do it now. Because they realize that, well, this is part of your immune system, your defense system. So, think about that. How many people have had their tonsils removed and are missing that part of their body's defense system? Yeah. What's that, Lily Lynn? You even had paralysis. Wow. Precisely what they did to us as children already. I used to frequency. Oh, really? Okay. I'm really interested in that. I've looked into it, but you get so much conflicting information. But I'm definitely into that. The Rife technology. If you can just a decent source, a source of the correct information and where to get the equipment, I'd be interested to know. Taylor, the stuff that's in these ones has something in them invented into 2016. It's yeah. And of course, I remember we fantastic, Lynn. If on my YouTube about page there, you should be able to my email address if that's possible, or send me a personal message if you can't put it into the chat. Or whatever, that would be really appreciated. Thank you, Lily. Thank you. That'd be really fantastic. Appreciate it. Yeah, and of course, if this is something that we can share with other people, then be happy to do so, because it is all about frequencies, isn't it? It is everything. All this is frequencies. Bob Beck's. Okay, Bob Beck's electromagnifier is cheap and should do the job. Okay, thank you. I will definitely look into that one. Bob Beck's electromagnifier. And then I understand that you can get software or you can there are all these frequencies you can choose from. What's that, Sandra? Nick, you should talk with Chris F.E. Jackson about the machine email. Okay. Fantastic. Oh, brilliant. This is the whole thing. This is what I love. Sharing information, sharing this kind of stuff as a community that we can depend and rely on each other. Thank you, Lily. I'll look forward to it. Yeah. And thank you, Sandra, for that suggestion. This is what there you go. This is what we're doing. This is why we do this. This is to create our independence from a system that requires our dependence on us, on it. Yeah. So Flat Earth Dude. Hey. Yeah. Hey, I've been doing this for 30 minutes now. My noodles are getting cold. So just thanks for tuning in, and hi Hooch. Yeah, sorry if you've just arrived, but I'm just about to sign out now. So let's catch up soon, and I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend so far. And thanks to all of you for coming in, and let's keep up the good fight, eh? Yeah. All right. Take care. Cheers.